live outside the federal courthouse where we just got through just an unbelievable hearing. I've been a journalist for 15 years, never attended a hearing like this. Some of the most disturbing, disgusting things that ever been aired in court that I've heard were aired today. There was also a disturbance when a sex abuse survivor in the back of the courtroom really made what probably could be constituted as a threat to this accused priest, Jeffrey Nowak, who faces two child pornography counts for receiving and sharing child pornography. So just to start, Nowak came in a blue jumpsuit, shackled, chained, as he was last time, and detention hearing, and he had it said Niagara County Jail on the back of the jumpsuit. We believe there may be a conflict of interest because Nowak's father apparently was an Erie County Sheriff's deputy, and maybe that's why Niagara County's handling this. That's unconfirmed at this point. The government, Aaron Mango, the assistant U.S. attorney, federal prosecutor, said that Nowak was a danger to the community. He then went into a lot of really sickening detail about why that was the case. He said that he first started off by saying that the house in Lackawanna where the priest was residing, his father's house, is across the street from a charter school. We looked it up. It's Global Concepts Charter School in Lackawanna. It's also down the street, apparently, from a children's wellness center. So that's concerning. And that ultimately led the judge to, he cited that when he denied Nowak being released, he's going to be detained pending trial. So Mango then painted a really kind of disgusting picture of the actual search of his house, said that FBI agents knocked for about 5 minutes, about 10 different times, a series of knocks, trying to get him to come to the door. They called his phone 3 times. He declined the calls. He said the breach, or essentially breaking open the door, is the last resort, and they did that. They breached. They broke in to the house. He said during our breach, the defendant came down the stairs and he's completely naked. Just what a sight. He told officers that he had to clean himself up. According to Mango said because the defendant had defecated himself during the execution of the search warrant. So priest literally shits himself when the FBI shows up at his door. It's like something, you can't make this stuff up. Much was made about this shirt that he wore, this religious shirt that had a picture of Jesus on it. Since he was naked, they asked him to put a shirt on. That's the shirt he chose to wear in court last week. So we also had another question here as to whether he had, I know a lot of Catholics have been asking me whether he has been being paid by the diocese. The diocese spokesperson has not made that clear. And it was made clear today that, you betcha, the Diocese of Buffalo Catholic parishioners have been paying Jeffrey Nowak. He apparently told agents, quote, "I'm a Catholic priest. I'm retired now, but I'm still on the payroll." And then Mango, the prosecutor, went on to say that it appears that he's been being paid by the diocese since 2020. And Nowak apparently told agents that he was an unassignable priest, to use the term once popularized by former auxiliary bishop Edward Grosch. So he actually did a polygraph exam downtown at FBI headquarters. He then did a written statement post-polygraph interview, did a written statement where he claims that he began to explore viewing child pornography only after he was suspended from being a priest in 2019. Don't know if I believe that, but that's what he claims. He says that he was introduced to it by a South Buffalo man who works in a restaurant in Elmwood Village. We have no idea who that is. And he said that Mango did say that he does not have proof that Nowak has done any hands-on abuse of a minor aside from viewing and receiving the child pornography. But wait until you hear the kind of comments he made about his family, his own siblings, which was very disturbing for the judge, and the judge cited that in his ruling. He said that he wanted to escape from the stresses of his life, that he's attracted to males between the ages of 8 and 10 years old. He said, I would like to apologize to the children who were victimized, and made a point. He said, I accept responsibility for my acts and my judgment. And he then claimed that before this, he always strived to uphold the mission of the church and Jesus Christ, which drew some sneers from the audience, to be honest. Mango said, you're going to see that it's actually much younger than that. So Mango then went on and described what he called a, quote, totally filthy, disgusting den where he masturbated to child pornography. And it included a green screen. I don't know what that was for, but would think would be something if you were filming something. That's kind of unclear at this point. He said there was jugs and containers of urine all over the room. A tremendously terrible smell. He also said that Nowak had been high on crystal meth that morning, and that agents found crystal meth inside a chalice that also had communion hosts. Just unbelievable. I mean, I never thought I'd hear that. He also said that he was smoking crystal meth in a pipe that was in the shape of a penis. And then Mango was getting information from agents just today who were reviewing his signal chats and other chats on his phone, and he was kind of getting information in real time that he was throwing there toward the judge. And one of the things he said, this is such a weird quote, but I have to include it. He said, Nowak said, I love being a misogynistic, racist, meth-fueled, satanic shit pig, whatever that means. I mean, who knows? He said that it is also clear that this defendant is part of the white power movement or is deeply racist. He cited Peyton Gendron and some of his manifestos, racist manifestos for the 514 mass shooting. And he also appears to use kind of Nazi type language and references to the SS and all sorts of, nasty kind of white supremacy language toward other users here. Then he gets into the stuff with his family, which is really disturbing. And Judge Romer said that this concerned him as one of the reasons behind denying him, bail and being let free while he awaits trial. He said that he's got he sent pictures on Signal to other pedophiles, essentially, of his 2.5-year-old nephew wearing a diaper. Said some disgusting things that I'm not even gonna repeat. Also sent a picture of a 17 to 19-year-old boy. That's what Mango said, standing in a doorroom, and Nowak said, "This is my nephew, the college freshman who needs to be kidnapped, drugged, brainwashed, and reprogrammed to be one of us." This is stuff that is extremely disturbing, certainly to the judge. He then he's talking about Peyton Gendron manifesto on May 15th. He said, hate, evil, violence. I continue to embrace it more and more. The way shit is going, it is getting even stronger. Then talks about other members of his family and says, I want to bash their skulls in with tire irons and a baseball bat. He says something about raping them and then aborting a fetus in the third trimester with his own hands. I mean, it's too much. I'm not going to get into anything more than that, but it's just really, really disturbing things here. Mango cited a conversation he had with an FBI analyst who said she's been doing this for at least a decade, and she said she told me this is one of the worst. This is some of the worst stuff she's ever seen in her life, as far as the child pornography and the language and the violence that was mentioned here. Nowak, also part of a Telegram group that was called Just Child Torture. And then, let's see here, mentions there was other materials that said Priest F's altar boy of boy doing oral sex on an adult male. I'm going to quote Mango here in his argument to the judge. He said, "I believe all this paints a picture of someone who is a complete danger to the community, a racist bigot who is addicted to crystal meth and child pornography, and has a deep, dark, um, has a sorry, I can't read my own writing, has a deep, dark um, connection to the underworld of child sex abuse materials, a deep, dark, sadistic fantasy to rape and torture minor children." That's coming from the words of the federal prosecutor. Now we go to the words of public defender John Morrissey. He had said there is zero evidence that Mr. Nowak has um, inappropriately put his hands on a child. He's in a dark place, and he's had a very difficult last few years. He mentions that he's had a spiraling mental health crisis. He then kind of goes through his life story and says he's wanted to become a Catholic priest since he was 5 years old. Going to seminary, he said it's work in a seminary is work that he loves, and that really he built his identity around. He said that he's proudest of trying to help people who are in need of help. That is very contrary to the picture of Nowak that was painted by his fellow seminarians at Christ King Seminary 7 years ago when we were reporting on this. He cites interestingly, the public defender cites the Erie County District Attorney's investigation, which found no criminality 7 years ago, as reason for why he should be released into the community. He then says, he then says that he's been self-medicating with crystal meth, and that he really just needs mental health treatment, and that he should be allowed to basically live under house arrest in this house. Judge kind of pushed back on that and said, okay, maybe he does have these. He obviously has, some mental health problems. The judge made that very clear. But he said, I have to deal with the person he is today. I have to decide whether, today he wouldn't go out and pose a danger to the community, to these children living, going to school across the street. The judge said, the other thing that really bothers me there are these threats against his family, about raping, killing them. He said, this isn't the normal child porn case where these are kids from another country. These are people in this community, very specific people that he talks about being violent against. Morrissey rebuttal to that said these are disturbing words, but the words that he's never acted upon. He says that this is the wake-up call that Nowak needed. I don't know why 7 years ago this wouldn't have been a wake-up call when he was taken out of ministry, and led to the downfall of former Bishop Richard Malone, but he said this wake-up call has already begun. Mango then, after a short break where the judge wanted to deliberate on this, is still getting information from the federal agents, it seems like are going through his phone, in real time here. And they said that that Nowak circulated a video of in a church from a few months ago of standing in front of a statue of Jesus and saying "F you, M or F'er." That's just, I'll use that term, and saying that Nowak urinated on the statue and then urinated in the communal holy water of this unnamed church. Morrissey pushed back against that and claims that that is not Nowak in the video, and that he was simply circulating this. They then go on here and talk about the father having a gun, saying he's not going to take the gun out of the house. So that was a concern. He apparently did say that, okay, after they brought it to him again, that he would take the gun out of the house. Doesn't really matter anyway, because he wasn't given, he was put into detention pending trial anyway. So he just, the only other thing here with the racist thing, Mango said it's very clear that the defendant, Nowak, idolizes Peyton Gendron. Morrissey then said he's not racist. He has nothing to do with the white power movement. He does not support the actions that Mr. Gendron took. It's just crazy. It's crazy that we're talking about Peyton Gendron in a case about a Diocese of Buffalo priest and child pornography. I mean, this was truly an inflammatory kind of detention hearing. It's one like I've never seen. Judge Romer then said the risk of letting him loose and having something happen is just too great for this court to accept. He then ruled that Nowak would be detained pending trial in the custody of the U.S. Marshals. Then things got really interesting because Kevin Brunn, who is an abuse survivor of the diocese, was in the back of the courtroom. And all of a sudden I heard someone yelling, and I saw all the court officers kind of jumping over to restrain him. And in Kevin's booming voice, he said, justice is not going to be done in court. It's going to be done in prison when they, something about, he said, when they throw dice to see who's going to take you out or something like that. And that I've never seen that before. So the court security officers rushed to stop that and got Mr. Brunn out of the courtroom. And there were no further incidents, but just talking with a few people who were in the gallery, Siobhan O'Connor, Father Richard Biernat, Matthew Bojanowski, Max Halliday, others who were here and who have been here, they're really stunned. This is some, we've all heard some very bad things in the course of reporting on the diocese over the last almost a decade. This takes a cake, though. I mean, this is something that is so disturbing, satanic at times, and the overall question: why was he being paid by the diocese during this time? And how did they allow this to happen? So there's going to be a lot to digest on this. I plan on having a written piece tomorrow for you on this, but I just wanted to connect with you just as court let out here. Thank you for following, and please leave your questions in the comments, and we'll see you soon. Bye.